Today, we're visiting Fast Forward Race Engines to assemble the new engine for the work truck. This is our block here?
This is it right here, yep.
Oh man, and you got me thinking some real bad thoughts that we might need a 2,000 horsepower truck. What's up guys, Javier from That Racing Channel. Welcome back to another episode of the TRC Work Truck Build Series. Per usual TRC fashion, we have big plans for the build and things are going from 0 to 100 real quick. I'm so excited to announce that we're partnering with our longtime friends, RSA Race Solutions. These guys are experts with the Coyote platform, and based on our experiences with them over the years, I know they're the perfect partner for the project. We plan to race the heck out of this truck, so having a local support system will be super key for us. We're here at their shop in Boynton Beach, Florida. The work truck build is well underway. We're gonna show you guys what we're up to and check out what they have going on at the shop. Let's get into it. What's up guys, Javier from That Racing Channel. In case you didn't hear, we're giving you guys the opportunity to win the TRC 2JZ S14 or Turbo S2000 plus 10,000 in cash. Oh yeah, that was 8,000. Oh yeah. We have some awesome new merch on the site. It's all in stock and ready to ship. Any purchase you make on thatracingchannel.com will automatically get you entered to win one of these badass TRC builds. Now let's get back into the action and get back to today's video. CJ, what's up, my man?
What's going on, brother?
So good to see you, bro.
Likewise, likewise.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome to RSA. We're in one of the buildings, but we built some pretty cool stuff here. You guys want to check it out?
Yeah, man. Let's do it, man. I see the work truck peeking out back there. And she's looking spicy, dude.
Yeah, she's coming along. She's coming along. I'm actually really excited about this. It's actually real top notch. It's real trick stuff. It's real trick stuff, dude. It's real trick stuff. We specialize in the Coyote stuff when it comes to Ford products, Coyote EcoBoost stuff, and we really kill the 10-speed game. So yeah, that's why I'm super excited about this truck.
You're excited, dude. I'm excited. Look at this. My man, Will, what's up, dude? What's up, man? It's been a minute since I've seen you, bro. It's been a while. For the OG fans, TRC fans, you guys will know Will. We featured their stuff so many times over the years. So you button up the old Coyote here from FFRE.
Yep, just getting a couple of things test fit, make sure we're all good. Really wanted to see this thing outside of the truck so we could really take a look at the quality. He does insane work. You can come in, shoot in here real quick. You can see everything is back purged. All the welding is top quality.
So this is Brandon from Basye Performance out of Texas. A lot of the guys in the F150 game, or if you've seen twin turbo F150s, they've probably seen these kits around. But yeah, he does crazy work, right? Like really good.
I opened up the box. I was so happy to be seeing this stuff in person finally. It's good. I'm excited.
Heck yeah, man. So we'll give you guys a little peek here.
Yeah, look at all that goodness in there.
So these are twin 64, 66 next gens, the new bad boys from Precision Turbo. Those things are spicy. You guys run the twin 64s on a lot of the setups, right, on the Coyotes?
Yeah. So actually my personal car, it's not on 64s now, but it used to be on 64s, made high 1500s at the tire and worked flawlessly. One of the reasons I'm so happy about this build is the actual heart of this car, this FFRE motor. Essentially, when you hit me up about this and you went over everything, it was just brought fireworks to the sky because all the products you're using, the guys who came on board are just top notch. Starting with this FFRE heart, you cannot go wrong there.
Oh man, Joe and the guys at Fast Forward are just, they're doing insane things with these things right now, right?
It's nuts, dude. It's nuts.
Our boy Brett LaSala with the green Mustang that's terrorizing everything right now. He's got a very similar engine in the car, except obviously a little bit of a more race style with aluminum rods. We're in a steel rod, but yeah, man, these things are what, 2,000 horsepower capable or something like that. So
it's not even that they're 2,000 horsepower capable; it's that they live. And if the tune's good, the build is quality, like they absolutely live, dude. My personal car, the first motor we put in it, lasted for 3 years and hundreds of hits. Like, I am the absolute worst when it comes to putting power down with a car, meaning that every time I go to lunch, I drive one of my cars and it's seeing a hit, like every single time.
Heck yeah.
He says hundreds of hits. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hits. Because we get 100+ hits out of a trans, and I've put so many transes in.
Yeah. Exactly, dude. And
oh, I love to hear that, man. And we're planning to do a lot of racing with this thing, man.
That's what I want.
We're gonna have a lot of fun together, brother.
I cannot wait, and I cannot wait. And the quality of the stuff, especially with this kit, has been, like Will was saying, it's really amazing to see. It's the type of stuff that when we're building a car, this is exactly what you want to see.
We strive for this.
Yeah.
To watch it come out of the box is nice.
It's awesome.
So we also got some goodies here from Plazmaman. So we got the Plazmaman intake manifold. We're running some FIC 2150 injectors per what the tuner wanted, but it's pretty much almost ready to rock.
Yeah. Basically, the test fitting looks good. We've built the trans already. Parts are coming in. Now the next step is essentially getting it all in the truck and starting that process of dial in, and happy Javier.
Party time. Well, I see some parts on the table back there. Let's go check those out.
Top quality stuff. You can see that he even took the care to add a dividing plate in the top here so that we have equalized pressure, so that the pressure's not fighting each other. Little details like that make a huge difference when it comes to efficiency of an overall kit, especially at the power level you guys are going to be reaching for. So having good base components make our lives a lot easier later on. Yeah, it's good stuff. And you got a bunch of goodies from Motion Away Raceworks and everything.
Yeah, our boys at Motion, Brett and Doug sent over a catch can, and we got a C02 kit. It's gonna be spicy.
Yeah, Motion's been really cool because I feel like I'm originally not a American muscles guy, like Coyote guy. So coming into the industry, then seeing Motion from what they were a couple years ago to now is awesome. Like, they literally have everything for everything. I'm real happy they came on board with this stuff.
Yeah, man, I was originally looking CO2 kit. I was like, oh, let me hit up Brett, hit up the guys at Motion, and they're like, dude, we got it all, dude. And I'm like, hell yeah. So this is gonna be good. Yeah, so we got the heart out of her. So stock motor, stock trans came out. She's almost ready, boys. Drop a K series in there for April Fools.
We could do that. There's enough room.
All right, let's not piss everybody off today. So you said you built the trans already?
Yeah, built the trans already.
Let's go check that out and give us a rundown on the trans, because that seems to be the build will be capable of a lot of horsepower. A lot of the limiting factors that you hear from everybody, obviously in the Coyote or the 10R game, or these 10 speeds and how well they live at these higher horsepowers, you know?
So trans-wise, you're an OG friend. It's nothing for me to build my big boy trans. We call it the 1500R because when we originally built the trans and did all the R&D for this trans, that was our goal, to keep 10-speed living at 1500 horsepower. We're on version like 4 of it now, and they last. My white car outside makes just under 2,000 publicly, and it shifts, it works. I pretty much only give this transmission to my boys, and you're one of them, and I'm excited to see this thing run.
My man.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where I've had other shops try and get a hold of it to see what's in it, and I'm not about that life. As you know, I like to do Mexico stuff, and naturally, if I see another 10-speed car, I know he doesn't have my trans in there, so I know just how fast he can go.
Heck yeah, we're gonna have to plug some clips here, because your car's done work. 60 to 130 on the street, at the track. So how hard have you pushed these transmissions? Like what are some of the, I know you said you're making upwards of, 1,800, 2,000 or whatever, but like how quick have you guys gone on the quarter, 60 to 130 stuff on the street? Like what does that look like?
So the quarter mile stuff, a lot of our testing is done by a buddy of mine, Rob Little. He's got a S197 with a Gen 3 Whipple, or Gen 3 3.8 Whipple in it. His last transmission, I just rebuilt it. We decided, hey, it's gotta be time. Like, we've gotta look at this transmission, dude. It's been in your car so long. I think it was 118 7-second passes. It looked fucking perfect. Excuse my language. It looked absolutely great. We were actually shocked at how good it looked. I gave him the new update, sent to the track. First time going down the track, he went 7.7 and 185, and he's like, I need more power. This trans is amazing. It's one of those things. So what we focus on with the transmission is holding capacity and how to properly achieve the goals. Instead of just adding clutches any nilly-willy way we can, we really focus on adding clutches and then also making sure that clutches are applied properly and evenly. Let's see, actually, and I'll show you something. This is a trans that we just took apart for a customer. It's gonna go back in. This is the bottom steel of the D clutch. And as you can see, this is where pressure is applied. I won't tell you exactly what we do, but in our aftermarket transmissions, or in our builds, you'll see that clutch wear is even throughout the steel. We change everything from drum to steels to pressure plates to snap rings. It's a whole thing. It's a whole science behind it that we keep really under lock and key like it's Area 51, but it makes a big difference. Because say you were to add an extra clutch and you just do it wrong, there's no reason to add an extra clutch if you're only applying clutch to maybe 15% of the steel. It's a science behind it, but it's one of the reasons why these things last so long. Another thing with the 10 speeds that's super important, which you don't have to worry about, is tuning. Junior's behind your game, Lund's behind your game, so you're good. Also, converter. Converter is extremely important. Circle D came on, and honestly, they're my #1 recommendation.
So is this just like an off-the-shelf deal, or?
Yeah, just an off-the-shelf deal. They've kind of done the R&D to the point where you can call them and say, hey, I've got this Whipple, I've got this Pro Charger, I've got this turbo car, this is what my car does, and this is what I would like it to do, and they can point you in the right direction. They're industry leading with that, them and Suncoast. Between the trans, converter, and the motor, I'm real happy to hear this thing sing. I'm expecting, with the setup, for it to just work and have fun, you do hits daily somewhere in the 1,800 horsepower range. Yeah. And I can say that on camera, I stand behind it all day.
That works, boys. That works.
Yeah. Which I hear that when you make some crazy power, the trucks are kind of nuts.
It's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, Javier's gonna walk out like this. You know what I mean?
But no, it's gonna be a wild ride, man. I'm super excited. I'm super freaking excited. And let's be real here. The work truck didn't really need to make more power, right? Like, did you? I mean, it was a truck that you could daily drive, and it went 9.8 at 140. Like, that's like a dream truck, right? Like the habitual line steppers that we are. We're just gonna say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and throw another 500 or 600 horsepower, 700 horsepower at it and see what happens.
Oh, it's gonna be wild.
Are you ready for this, dude?
Oh, I can't wait, dude. I can't wait.
So when it comes to suspension, our boy Kelly over at Keltrack got us set up with some pretty baller stuff.
Yeah, this is his brand new stuff. Basically, if you got a Ford product, you do anything nowadays. You want to hook on the street, you want to hook anywhere, Kelly's the guy. He sent his custom valve setup for the F150. It's a Viking front shock, dual adjustable, looks absolutely awesome. And I know Kelly from experience, it's gonna work just as good as it looks. On the back, something real trick, because with the F150s, the trucks, usually a lot of stuff is changed and moved around for the shock setup, but here it's actually the factory location. And that's something to highlight, I think, which is huge, because when it comes to guys that are doing this in the garage or whatnot, you guys can actually do this and get such a high quality product and high end results that the R&D and Kelly has kind of leads you to.
Yeah, it's already worked out, you know. Exactly. And I think one of the things he mentioned was, so Keltrack is the only company that offers a stock replacement for a type of setup like this, right? So a lot of the guys relocate it to make it vertical, and which he said isn't the best for performance. You know, he said it might ride a little better, but all in all, like he said, this is what we want to have, and that's what he recommended. So He definitely knows what he's doing. You guys run that stuff in the Mustangs and stuff too, right?
Yeah, literally in all my cars. So Kelly's the type of guy, sorry Kelly if this makes you too busy, if you actually talk to him, say, hey, this is what my car has and this is what I wanted to do, he'll point you in the right direction. And my relationship with him has been extremely important to my cars. Like extremely important, and I think half the reason my cars stay on the ground is because of him.
Heck yeah, man. So another thing we're gonna update, once the build is done here, we're gonna go visit Brett and Doug over at TBM, and we're gonna get some brakes on this thing. So this is where we're gonna wrap it up for today. Motor's about to go in. They're putting the manifolds on, so it's a little bit easier to get them on before the whole motor goes in. And they're gonna get the trans in it. And next episode, we're gonna be driving this thing. We're gonna fire it up, get it on a base tune, and go drive it around, and then head to the dyno. So thanks so much for tagging along. We'll catch you in the next one.
All right, so here we have a 10R80. This is gonna go into a pretty serious build. I'm looking forward to checking this thing out. This is a F150 4x4 10R80. We'll start with a teardown and I'll bring you guys along the journey and get an idea how this goes. Easiest thing to do is just look at it. See if anything looks out of place. You'd be surprised how many things you can catch just by looking at it from the beginning. So, rule of thumb, when everything comes out, clean it, and I personally put things back in a place I can remember where they're gonna be. With the plastic parts, brake clean's kind of aggressive, so you wanna take that out. But we actually won't even be using this because this car is gonna have a new vent setup. Just checking over everything. Taking the seal out. That's garbage. This is where we clean everything. Once I take this thing fully apart, a large portion of the time is dealt with actually cleaning. So a lot of the time with these transmissions, these two bolts up front are changed. People change them for different heat shields or stuff like that, but it's one of the ways you can kind of see if someone's been in the transmission or not. That was loose. All right, let's see how dirty this thing was. Usually the gasket doesn't come out with the pan like that. This thing saw some abuse, as we can see. The fluid needs to be changed, or needed to be changed, really. The filter doesn't look too bad. Yeah, no, this thing could have still been working perfectly fine. Really just up to how the solenoids are performing in the valve body. So here. Tad bit dirty. Okay, so here I just pulled off the auxiliary pump filter, as you can see, and now I'm gonna go after the valve body. This is the most vital and biggest issue with these transmissions. Essentially, I would say 80 or 70, 80% of the time, whenever there's an issue with the transmission, it is most likely going to be the valve body. It's most likely going to be debris in the valve body. The issue with the Ford valve bodies is that they can come from factory defective. It's kind of a hit or miss. We make some modifications to the valve body in our valve bodies. Essentially, this is the heart, brains, everything on the transmissions, and this is everything right here. As you can see with how dark this fluid is, there's definitely clutch material in the fluid, contaminants. And once that gets into the valve body solenoids, it causes issues. And with these cars being as controlled by computers as they are, whenever things get outside of parameters and windows that the car is expecting, that's when you start to miss shifts. A lot of the time you'll find that the transmission can make shifts at full throttle, but will have trouble shifting, maybe flaring and stuff like that during normal driving. That's gonna be all valve body type stuff. So let's take this thing out and keep pushing forward. So actually, if you come to the top here, you'll see this. The valve body bolts are indicated by arrows on the valve body themselves. Now, I'll show you guys something super important. So this is a filter bolt, this is a valve body bolt. It's quite often that when I open a transmission, I will see these two bolts in the wrong place. This filter bolt cannot go in the valve body, but a lot of people misplace them. Once this goes in the valve body, this will kill your transmission. They look very similar from the top, and it's easy to miss if you don't know what you're looking for. Once this goes in here and gets torqued down and the transmission moves, that's it, done deal. Quite often, that is a major issue with a good amount of builds. So let's take this thing out now. Yeah, look at that. That's gonna all be clutch material right there, factory clutch material, this color. The Robestos material that we use is a little bit different of a color. Once the valve body's out, then we go to the oil pump. See, oil pumps don't usually go bad, but it's something we have to inspect and clean out. A lot of it's feel of how the pump's going, if it's moving oil. This pump seems to be just fine. But this is something that takes a couple quarts to fully clean out. So as you can see with all this material that's in the fluid, it is super vital to thoroughly clean the transmission, because any bit of this that is residual that stays in this transmission will eventually get to the valve body. Say you were just to do a build, not clean it as thoroughly as you need to, put a fresh valve body in as you naturally would. If this gunk gets into the valve body, it'll lead to a premature life of that valve body essentially. I take out the sensor harness. You might want to take a step back, because once this comes out, it may fall out. Usually doesn't, but you never know with fluid. So with this harness, one of the things to look for is material on the sensors. These sensors need to be thoroughly cleaned. I don't know if you can pick that up, but you'll see gray material here. All that needs to be cleaned off. It needs to be thoroughly inspected and cleaned so that none of it's residual, because all of this affects how the transmission performs. We'll go over this and clean it later. I'm just putting it on its side a little bit so some of the fluid can drain out. Now I'm gonna take off the front support. So these bolts here, we do not reuse them. My transmission mentor, he taught me to never really use these things. Here's something to actually check on, which is actually cool. I've learned to build transmissions on a 1080, and in the process of learning, because we do so many builds, we do so many transmissions that are previously built by other builders, you get to see and learn a lot of stuff. So in order to pry the front plate off, you have these holes here. Perfect from Ford. A lot of guys will actually take a screwdriver and pry from up here and go left to right, and you'll see damage on the front section here. But this way, that's it. A lot easier that way. And also, so from here you'll see. So these two bolts right here, here and here, this is where I was saying earlier where a lot of different transmissions have longer studs for holding different things. That's something to pay attention to, because if you don't and the studs are still there, you won't be able to get the front support out. And that's that. So that's what I do as a little cheat code. I get these first set of clutches out. real important that the wave springs stay in the same direction. So now I'm going to all the important clutches in here, all the power in here, all of this inside this drum. Usually, if you see me in a video, I will stop here so you don't see what we do with all the modifications from henceforth. We'll go all the way down through the teardown process. We're going to inspect every bearing and every surface it rides on. We're also going to be looking for heat, excess heat. That will lead us to investigate even further into different aspects of the transmission. And so this is what I mean by that. Inspect the surfaces essentially, because with every drum, case, pressure plate, everything, there's always going to be surfaces that ride on each other. So this is the E. A lot of failures happen here because a lot of people modify this in the stupidest way I've ever seen, and lots of kabooms from that. This actually looks good. No problems here. So the CDF. This is an older CDF drum, so this drum is actually going to be replaced. Ford started making some modifications to these, or changing them in, I believe, mid-2022 model years. Essentially, it's to stop this surface from moving right here. So most of the time, it's not an issue. I'll be honest. We replace them anyway, especially with our 1500Rs, which this is going to be because the CDF drum on the 1500R is a little bit different. So regardless, say this was a stage 1, we would replace this anyway, but because it's a 1500R, it gets a whole new shebang. There's some heat in this surface here, but this heat's normal. Inspect all the Teflon bearings, look inside for excess wear. This is all good here. I'm looking for any binding feelings here. Feels good. So when there's some heat, it's something that quite often we'll see. We'll see it here actually. So say one of these will have major discoloring, like this bluing, purplish color. That's how you know some heat's got into these. But this looks good. Yeah, you can tell this truck only made like 800-900 horsepower. Nothing crazy. That's the most of the teardown. I don't think we really need to tear down the CDF drum so much because this thing gets a brand new one anyway. So another thing where I can tell who's been in the transmission, if they've done it right or not, is directions of snap rings. And it's something easy to tell if someone's been in the transmission and reinstalled it a little bit differently. See here, this doesn't go through. There's a retaining ring in there. That's something that got me a lot in the beginning. Now it comes right out. So these are the E's. So even in factory, you see they get some heat in them. So the factory setup has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this transmission will have quite a bit more than that. And it should not have these major issues with heat. All right, input shaft, or main shaft.
Today, we're back at RSA Race Solutions.